Hi, my name is Miss Acevedo. Welcome back for another read aloud. This one is called The Emperor's Egg by Martin Jenkins. My friend Georgia was telling us about how she learned a little bit about how some penguins survive in Antarctica. I'm wondering, Antarctica is really extremely cold with extreme weather. How is it possible that not only some penguins can survive, but they can even breed and have their eggs and their baby penguins there? So let's read and find out more about the emperor's egg. So there's a specific kind of penguin called emperor penguins they're able to breed there. So let's find out more. There are 17 kinds of penguins, but the emperor is the only one that breeds in Antarctica in midwinter. What? The adults arrive at their breeding areas, often more than 100 miles from the open sea, in late autumn. A few weeks later, the female lays her single egg and returns to the sea, leaving the male to keep the egg warm until it hatches a couple of months later. I think that's what Georgia was talking about, how it is the male that has to take care of that egg. At first, the male and the female take turns caring for the chick, but soon it is big enough to be left while both parents go fishing to find its food by the sea. By the time it is 4 months old, the young penguin's coat of down has been replaced by adult feathers. It now also sets off for the sea, where it has to start taking care of itself. So let's find out more about the emperor's egg. Down at the very bottom of the world, there's a huge island that's almost completely covered in snow and ice. It's called, you guys know it, it's one of the continents, but there are no countries inside this continent. It's the continent of Antarctica. And it is the coldest, windiest place on Earth. The weather's bad enough. They're in summer, but in winter, it's really terrible. It's hard to imagine anything actually living there. But wait! What's that shape over there? It can't be. Yes, it's a penguin. It's not just any old penguin either. It's a male emperor penguin, the biggest penguin in the world. And he's doing a very important job. He's taking care of his egg. Male emperor penguins are about 4 feet tall. The females are a little smaller. He didn't lay it himself, of course. His mate did that a few weeks ago, but very soon afterwards, she turned around and waddled off to the sea. That's where female emperor penguins spend most of the winter, swimming about, getting as fat as they can, eating as much as they can, and generally having a very nice time as far as you can tell. Emperor penguins eat mainly fish, squid, and tiny shrimp-like animals called krill, which leaves the father penguin stuck on the ice with his egg. Now, the most important thing about egg sitting is to stop your egg from getting cold. Inside the egg, a penguin chick is starting to grow. If the eggs get cold, the chick will die. That means it has to be kept off the ice and out of the wind. And what better way to do that than to rest it on your feet and tuck it right under your tummy, which is just what the father penguin does. And that's how he'll stay for 2 whole months until his egg is ready to hatch. Can you imagine it? Standing around in the freezing cold with an egg on your feet for 2 whole months? Female emperor penguins lay 1 egg in May or June, which is the beginning of the winter in Antarctica. It's the opposite of the winter here. When here we have summer, over there they have winter. What's more, there's nothing for the father penguin to eat on land. So for 2 months, he's taking care of this egg. He can't move a lot. He can't eat because there's nothing for him to eat. So that means the 2 whole months with an egg on your feet and no dinner. I don't know about you. And because he's egg sitting, he can't go off to the sea to feed. He can't have breakfast or lunch or snacks. I don't know about you, but I'd be very, very miserable. Luckily, the penguins don't seem to mind too much. They have thick feathers and lots of fat under their skin to help keep them warm. And when it gets really cold and windy, they all snuggle up together and shuffle over the ice in a great big huddle. Most of the time, the huddle trundles along very, very slowly, but sometimes when the penguins get to a particularly slippery slope, they slide down it on their tummies, pushing themselves along with their flippers, always remembering to take care of the egg and trying hard not to bump into each other. Even though the males keep the egg tucked up tight under their tummies, when they slide, the egg sometimes rolls out and breaks. Oh no. And that's how the father penguin spends the winter, until one day he hears a chip, chip, chip. His egg is starting to hatch. It takes a day or so, but finally the egg cracks open and out pops a penguin chick. Now the father penguin has two jobs to do. He has to keep the chick warm and he has to feed it. The chick is only about 6 inches tall at first and much too small to keep warm by himself. But on what? The chick is too small to be taken off to the sea to catch food, and it can't be left behind on the ice. Well, deep down in the father penguin's throat, there's a pouch where he makes something a little like milk. And that's what he feeds to his hungry chick. The father penguin can make only enough of the milky stuff to feed his chick for a couple of weeks. But just as he's about to run out, a dot appears on the horizon. It gets closer and closer. And yes! It's Mom! She starts trumpeting, hello, and the father penguin starts trumpeting, hello, and the chick whistles. The racket goes on for hours, and it really does sound as if they're extremely pleased to see each other. Every adult penguin has its own special call, like a fingerprint. Chicks have their own special whistle, too. As soon as things have calmed down, the mother penguin is sick, right into her chick's mouth. So she kind of throws up on purpose. She's throwing up the food so that the chick can eat it. Yuck, you may think, but yum, thinks the chick, and gobbles it all down. It's the mother's turn to take care of the chick now, while the father sets off to the sea for a well-earned meal of his own. About time, too. The end. I hope you enjoyed learning more about the emperor's egg from this book. Have a great day. Bye.